let's discuss about statistical quality control. In this chapter, we'll study about what do you mean by quality of a service or quality of a product, and we'll discuss about four types of charts: X bar chart, R chart, P chart, and C chart. And we'll see how these charts can help you to identify quality of a product or quality of a service. And we will discuss further the points related to central limit theorem and things to be under controlled. So quality is a major issue because if you want to do a purchase or anything, we look for something which is good quality. Okay, poor quality means it is something which people won't want to go for it. So quality management or quality control is very important for any organization. It is important in manufacturing, it's important technical stuff. It's also important in networking and any other area. So here we are going to study about the process of handling quality using some statistical methodology. This is called statistical process control, SPC. So let's see what is quality. Quality of a product or a service is defined as the degree to which the product or service meets the specifications. So here in quality, we also include the requirements or the importance of the customer's needs. Whatever the customer wants has to be satisfied to some extent at least. Total quality management refers to the quality emphasizes that encompasses the entire organization. So TQM goes from the supplier till the customer, okay, whether quality is managed properly throughout the scheme or not. So it is very important that you have to meet the quality requirements properly and you have to emphasize on TQM because there are other competitors for any business, for any entity in this world now. So quality can be defined differently. Different people have different definitions for quality. Some would say whether it conforms to a design or a specification. Some would say whether it meets or satisfies the needs of the users. Some would say whether it fits the use of it. Some would say it is defined by the customer. Customer decides whether it meets his expectation, whether it is appropriate to the cost or whatsoever. Right? So people, some others would say even though you could not define quality specifically, but you know what it is. Okay, it is something you know already. So statistical process control is basically a process by which you manage or you establish, you monitor some standards. You make some measurements, you make some analysis, and then you want to correct any mistake that has happened. For example, in a process, you look for some samples. You will take some samples, you will examine them and you will see whether the samples fall within some specified range. If it is going beyond the range, then we need to stop the process. You need to check what is called as assignable costs. The reason behind such an outlier, such a thing that has happened. So you need to remove those kind of assignable costs. So we have what is called control chart. Control chart is a graphical representation of your data over time. Here we have what is called upper limit and lower limit. Things should be within this upper and the lower limit. So here see these are some patterns. If you have the targeted values, upper limit, lower limit, it should be between the upper and the lower limit. If you go outside the upper limit, then you need to investigate what's the cause of this. Here again it is below the lower limit. Sometimes you will find there are 2 points which are going towards the upper limit. Again, you need to investigate why it is moving towards the upper limit, or if it is moving towards the lower limit, you need to investigate also. Right? If suppose everything is above the central line or central tendency line, then also you might need to investigate the reason behind. Also, if it is always below the line, or if it is having a trend towards upper direction or trend towards the lower direction, then we need to investigate the reason for this change. And if the behavior is erratic, then again you need to investigate. So there are situations where you need to investigate to find out what's happening in your process. Every process you take will have some degree of variability. There will be some ups and downs. This is okay. Right? There are two kinds of variations. One is called common variation, the other one is called special causes of variation. There are two. So you need to keep the variation under control. This is very important. So the control charts are built based on average of your samples. Okay. So if let's say there are two types of variations I told you. Number one is called natural variation. Number two, variation due to assignable causes. What do you mean by natural variation? This affects every process, okay? And it is something which is random and you cannot control it. So whenever you say this kind of variation that is represented by two parameters, one is called as a mean, which is a central tendency or the average in our case here. And the second one is the standard deviation, how far, I mean, how you are clustered around the mean. These two things, if your distribution is within the limits, then you say things are under control, in control. Next one is called assignable variations. So here, the process is not within the control. Like for example, you are expected to have a delay of some time in the network, but you are having beyond that limit. Then you will say, this is something I need to figure out. It is not in control. I need to detect this cost, which is called assignable cost, and I need to eradicate it. I need to stop it. These variations are not random. They could be controlled easily. So central control charts help you to find out where the problem is. So the main objective of the process control system is to have a statistical signal where you can figure out what is the assignable cost that is creating this variation, and you need to take out this, or you need to get rid of this. There are two types of charts for control charts. One is called X bar chart, or the mean chart. The other one is a range chart, which is R chart. Both of them are used to measure things that are measured in continuous units, used for process where the measurement is in a continuous unit, like weight, height, volume, and so on and so forth. So X bar chart, which is a mean chart, here it will give you the central tendency, okay, and you can see whether changes have occurred to the central tendency or the mean or not. R chart, this is actually to show you the uniformity of the process. This is the range of the process like. So both the charts must be used when you are monitoring variables like. And if you talk about central limit theorem, this is actually the foundation for the X bar, or the mean chart. In the case of central limit theorem, it is said if you have a distribution of a sample, this will follow what is called normal distribution, provided the sample size is huge. Even if you have a smaller sample size, still it's said that it is approximately normal, nearly normal like. So central limit theorem has these statements to make. Number one, the mean of a sampling distribution will be equal to the population mean. So if you take some samples and you get the mean, this will be equal to the mean of the whole population. Number two, the standard deviation of the sampling distribution will be equal to the population standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So you can see here, this is mean mu X bar, which is mean of the sample distribution, and it's equal to the actual mean itself. And sigma, which is X dash, which is meaning standard deviation of the sample standard deviation, is equal to the actual standard deviation of the population divided by square root of n. N is the size of your sample, okay, how many elements you took for your sample like. And generally what you will do is this, you will estimate mu X dash and mu with the average of all means, which is X double dash. So remember, X double dash is average of all sample means, okay. We take many samples, for each sample you get a mean, and for all these means you get a mean out of them, an average of them. Right, here is a table which will represent possible population distribution with mu and sigma X, and you can see you can have a series of random samples, X1 dash, X2 dash, X3 dash, and so on for each group you will take. Finally, you can get the average of them. So here, these are distributions we can have. We can have a normal distribution, which has a mu and standard deviation, and beta, which is like this. Then you have a uniform distribution. And when you represent them, you can say mean is somewhere in the middle, mu x equal to mu. And if you take plus or minus 2 sigma x dash, it will be like 95% of 95.5% of the distribution is inside, and 99.7% covers plus or minus 3 sigma x. So sigma x dash is equal to sigma x by square root of n. So it's clear here, 99.7% of the time the sample falls within a range of plus or minus 3 sigma, which is the standard deviation, if the process has only random variations. And if it is 99.5%, it falls within the plus or minus 2 sigma x dash, if you have only random variations like. So you can see if a point on a control chart goes outside this plus or minus 3 sigma x dash, okay, then we are 99.7% sure the process has changed because it has gone out. Okay, this is the theory, main theory behind the control charts. So if you are given an x bar chart, you can calculate the upper limit and the lower limit. Upper limit is x double dash, which is the mean of the sample means, plus z, which is the standard normal standard deviation value. If it is 99.7% confidence, it is z equal to 3. If it is 95.5% confidence, z equal to 2. and sigma x dash is the standard deviation of the sampling distribution, which is the total sigma x divided by square root of n, which is n is the sample size. So x double dash plus z sigma x dash, it's the upper control limit. Lower control limit is x double dash minus z sigma x dash. So here is an example. Here is a company which is a large lot of boxes of cornflakes is sampled every hour. So they were going to do some sampling now. So the control limit, they want to set 99.7%. This means z equal to 3. We know this value. 36 boxes are randomly selected. So sample size n equal to 36. Randomly selected and its weight. And the average mean of the samples is 16 ounce. So x double dash is 16 ounce. And you are also given the standard deviation, which is sigma x equal to 2 ounce, which is the standard deviation of the population. So control limit UCL x dash is x double dash, which is 16, plus z is 3, 99.7, so it is 3. Sigma x dash is equal to sigma x, which is 2, divided by square root of n is 36. So you get this value, you do this calculation, you get UCL, upper control limit is 17 and lower control limit is 15. So if if the standard deviation of the process is not available or it is not possible to calculate due to some other reasons, then you cannot use the above equation. So instead we have next set of equation. Here these equations UCL and LCL can be calculated, but based on the range value. Okay, this is R dash, average range of the values. So x double dash plus A2 R dash and x double dash minus A2 R dash. You can get the A2 from the next table here, table given to you. And x double dash is the mean of the sample means, R double dash is average range of the samples. So here you can see this is the chart given to you. This is for z equal to 3. You can also have a chart for z equal to 2. If your sample size is 2, that means A2 is 1.880. If it is 3 and so on. So you got to know your sample size. Accordingly, you can get your mean factor value, which is A2 value. You can solve these things using some tools as well. Here is an example. Some company, they have a net weight of 16 ounces. The overall process mean is 16.01 ounces. This is actually from the samples itself. And the average range is 0.25 ounces and the sample size is given. So because n equal to 5, you go to this table, n equal to 5, you get 0.577 for A2. So use 0.577 for A2. So x double dash is given 16.01. A2 is 0.577 and then 0.25, which is the range dash. So just multiply, get the values here. So this is UCL value, this is LCL value. So you can find out what is the upper limit, what is the lower limit here. Next, we have what is called range chart limits. Okay, you can also get the ranges here. So here we are interested actually in the variability or dispersion of the process. So here we can use like limits. Limits are set based on plus or minus 3 sigma, which means 3 plus minus standard deviation is plus or minus 3. Right, for the range R dash. So how to calculate this? Here is the equation there. Upper control limit is D4 R dash, lower control limit is D3 R dash. Remember this is for R chart. So you can see upper control limit with R. Right, and if you want what is D4, D3, you can get from the table given next or given before also. So upper control limit, you have R dash is the range, average range you get. D3, D4 you can get from the table, which is this table here. So here is the table, you have the D4, D3. You just need to know the sample size. Accordingly, you get the values from the table. Remember, this is again for Z equal to 3. The table is given for Z is equal to 3. So here is an example. Here they have an average range of 53 pounds. So R dash is 53 pounds. Sample size is 5. So for 5, you go to the table, you find D4 is 2.114, D3 is 0. So you just multiply them, you get the value. So your UCL is 112 pounds, LCL is 0 pounds. So it should be within that range now. So how to use this X bar and R chart? Simply collect a sample of 20 to 25 samples of n equal to 4, n equal to 5. So each sample will have like 5 elements or 4 elements. So get them up, compute the mean, compute the range of each one. Then compute the overall mean, which is x double dash and R dash, and overall range, which is x R dash, using 99.7% level. Okay, you can calculate the upper and the lower limits. If the process is not stable and if you don't have what is called as x double dash, you can use the mean of the to calculate the limits also. Then graph them, put them in a graph to get the upper limit and the lower limit. If it is between the limits, then you can find out, you can say it is in control. If it is beyond the limit, then you can say it is not in control. If it is out of control, then you need to investigate. Okay, you need to identify the assignable costs and you need to address the cost accordingly. So you can also collect additional samples and revalidate your situations like. There are also control charts for attributes. Okay, so here you can say an attribute is often classified as defective, non-defective. Something can be good, bad, like this. So there are two types of charts. One is called P chart, the other one is called C chart. P chart is actually used to measure the percent defective in a sample. It's a percentage. C is a count. It's a number of defects in a sample. Okay, P chart, C chart. Using P chart, attributes that are good or bad or typically normally they follow what is called binomial distribution. But if your sample size is huge, now they follow what is called normal distribution, and this is the limit given. UCL is P dash, which is actually the percentage fraction defective, fraction of the defective in your sample, plus Z is the number of standard deviation, and sigma P, which is the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. If you want to find the sampling distribution standard deviation, you can find it using the equation here. It's a square root of P dash into 1 minus P dash by N. N is the size of the sample again. So here is a company where they have 100 database entries by Tony Clarks, and they were sampled, and they are finding out how many defectives were there. In the first sample, there were 6 errors, and second sample, and so on. So they just get 6 by 100, 0.06, 5 by 100, 0.05, and so on. So for all the 20 Clarks, it is given here. Number of errors, you just sum up all the errors, you get 80 errors totally. So now if you want to find P dash, which is actually to say the percentage defectiveness in your sample, you will take the total number of errors, divide by total number of records examined. Remember, we actually examined 20 clerks. For each clerk, there is 100 data. So 100 into 20, okay? So we have actually checked 2000 data here. So 80 by 2000, we get 0.04. This is your 4% there is error like, okay, defective inside the typing. And if you want to find the standard deviation, so P dash, which is 0.04 into 1 minus P dash 0.04 also, divided by 100. What is the sample size of each one? So each one sample size is 100. So divide by N, make a square root, you get the value. Then you can calculate UCL, which is P dash plus Z into sigma P. You get 0.10. Then LCL equal to P dash minus Z into sigma P. Remember, it cannot be a negative value. So if you get a negative value, you just put the value as a 0 value. That's it. So if things go outside your control, then you know it is outside the control. Okay, you have the UCL, you have the P value, you have the LCL. Things cannot be above the UCL and things should not be below the LCL. Again, we can use some software tools to do the job. So as we have told you earlier, C charts give you the count of the number of defects, not the percentage, the number. And you can find a record may contain more than one defect. Okay, so let's say you want to find, for example, here what they are indicating, if you have a record, a database record, you can have a database record have one defect or it can have many defects, right? But in the previous scenario, we only looked for defects, meaning defective record. If there is one error in the record, it's called as defective record. If there is 10 error in a record, it's also called as defective record. So it's like 1 is the point that is given, defective record, irrespective of how many errors you have. Let's say I want to find number of defects per unit of output. Okay, we can use a C chart. C chart, they are based on Poisson distribution, which has its variance equal to the mean. So variance and mean are equal. The mean is C dash and the standard deviation is square root of C dash. Remember, variance, square root of variance is equal to standard deviation. So if you want to compute the control limit, it's C dash plus or minus 3 into sigma square root of C dash. This 3 is because of the Z. If Z is 99.7, then it is 3. If Z is 95.5%, then it will become 2. Accordingly, it will change. So here is a company. They receive a lot of complaints about, it's a car company, the drivers. Okay, on a 9-day period, the owner received so many calls, so many problems from the passengers. So if you count them for a total of 54 complaints. So we want to compute for 99.7% control limit. So C dash is 54, which is the total number of complaints, divided by 9, which is the 9-day period. So 6 complaints per day. So if you want to calculate UCL, it is 6 plus 3 because of the Z. Z is 3 here, 99.7. Square root of 6 again, you get 13 point something. And the lower limit, it cannot be negative. So if you get a negative value, just make it to 0 here. So you can actually calculate these things using some kind of tools. and this ends our topic.